I guess I got to fix that ending a little bit. Welcome to the Horror Movie Massacre. My name is Ray Zor, or Ray, or whatever. Uh, Now, if you've seen any of our shows before, you know we do the Horror Syndicate Discourse normally on Wednesday nights, but we had a schedule change, and now those are on Sunday nights, and we are coming up with a brand new episode this upcoming Sunday at 8 p.m. Central Time on a movie called The Autopsy of Jane Doe. So make sure you check us out on Sunday for a breakdown of the movie with Autopsy of a Scene with Nate. Some asshole's going to break down the synopsis. Maybe I'll have 5 questions this time, and Jared will have some tips, not tips and tricks. I forgot. It doesn't matter. I already lost my credibility. Please subscribe if you have not already subscribed on the YouTube channel, and you probably already like the Facebook. Tonight we are going to finally, now during the up all night phase of this, we were up all night talking about Friday the 13th, all the way back in December, I think, is when we started talking about the movies. And we came up with a rating system, and basically we're finally showing off. We had to wait till we did all the Elm Street movies, all the Scream movies, all the Friday the 13th movies to show you the final rankings. And we've got a lot of them to get to because we have our personal rankings, we've got our slash score rankings, if you remember that, and then we've got the community rankings as well, and then our combined rankings from me and Seth's rankings of the Friday the 13th franchise. And I said we're going to do 2 episodes tonight, but nobody remembers that because I can't fucking do it. I did too much work on my like today, and I'm tired as fuck from doing it all. So we will do a Nightmare on Elm Street's ranking next Wednesday for our show, and then the Wednesday following we will be doing a new series of films. That's not a new series. It's actually one of the older series of horror films, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Perfect for the summertime. So stick with us, subscribe, like this video, please, like everything else. Just hit the like button for us, and if you want, give us a share because if you hit the like button, that helps us out tremendously. So I've got my 2009 replica Jason mask with me, and I've also got a good friend of mine with me. His name is Seth. Seth, sequel Seth. I put on the trailer. Seth, how are you, my friend?
I am all right. How are you?
You will be better once the Horror Syndicate discourse does some howling, if you know what I mean.
That's
Because we'll
right.
be doing that very soon. And I know how much you love a good werewolf flick. And Seth is a huge fan of the werewolf subgenre in horror. So, man, it seems like forever ago that we were talking about, started talking about Friday the 13th.
I
Uh,
think it was, dude. I think it was November, wasn't it?
it
Because
might have
we,
been November. It's been a while. Here we are in nearing mid June already, and we're finally getting to the ranking. I mean, we did one movie per week, so that's 3 months really, and then we had to take a break for Christmas, New Year's. We did Silent Night, Deadly Night, all those movies.
yeah,
We also did the Scream series, and we had to wait until after we did Freddy versus Jason to do this ranking. So it made sense. And if you're a big fan like Seth and I of the Friday the 13th series, you absolutely should hit the like button, right?
yes,
Yes, because it helps us. It helps us.
it helps us with something.
Something. It spreads the word. We already got some comments rolling in from our old friend Sean Sheridan, who's been following for a long time. He always gives us a nice little comment before. This time it was his ranking, and that is exactly what we want to hear from you. We want reactions to our personal rankings. We want reactions to the overall ranking, the community, all that stuff. And we actually have a franchise ranking from the community, so we will be able to do like a top 10 franchises of all time. And Friday the 13th stat is going to stack up pretty high, I think.
Yeah,
Before we get into any of these rankings, let's do a quick rundown overall. Idea of what the series is and means to us because I love this series. It means a lot to me. It's fun. It's unlike the other two big three, Halloween, A Nightmare on Elm Street. It's kill count galore. It's gore galore. I love it, man. And Jason, I mean, he doesn't have much of a character to him, but played by so many different actors, and it's great because you can really take your pick of who your favorite Jason actor is or who your favorite Final Girl is, because they don't really roll over like they do in Elm Street or even Halloween. What about you? What do you love? You love this. I know you love this series.
Oh yeah, of course I love it. It's like it's the like out of all of them, it's the more like adrenaline fueled series because it is more about the kills and the high body count, and it's just a really fun series. I mean, even some of the bad ones are kind of fun, you know. Some,
Yeah, I agree. And I don't know. I mean, there are bad ones in this series, but
yeah,
I mean, the bad ones are just fun in general. Like Jason X, for instance, we both think that's a bad one.
yeah,
It's still a lot of fun, and it has somewhat of a fan base.
yeah,
So, you know, yeah, I think, and that's the one of the best things about this series, in my opinion, for the fandom in general, is everybody has a different Friday the 13th movie that is their favorite. Mine's not the same as yours. Yeah, and we as a horror syndicate, the discourse show, we're all split in half. Nate and I like Jason Lives. You and Jared are wrong. So, hello,
incorrect,
hello.
false information verified by independent fact
Fake
checkers.
news. All right, so let's look at these comments real fast, if you don't mind. Sean put his rankings, his MT rankings. Uh, I always wonder what he types on. Rank part 5 is the worst. He makes up for it by making Jason Lives number 1, but man, give part 5 another chance. You got to understand what part 5 actually is. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you guys rank the Children of the Corn movies, it'll be just everything tied for last place together. Hey,
It's
that's
probably
coming.
true.
It's true, but it's probably coming. Take out Ethel. No, that's one of the best parts of the whole movie. Ethel Jr. When she calls him a dildo, my eyes water with excitement, and I get very excited. Two spots actually. I prefer 3 to 5. 3 is not as good as everybody says it is. Why do you like 3? Why does everybody like Friday the 13th 3 so much? I mean, I am wearing a shirt kind of 3D ish. This is more based on the video game though. Um, yeah, Friday the 13th, great series. Before, and so we did an episode back in November probably, where we ranked all of the, and this is where the show really got started. We ranked all the final girls for Friday the 13th,
Yep,
and it was a lot of fun. And then we ended up doing a ranking of all 32 movies between Halloween and Friday the 13th. It was what 3.5 hours, something like that.
3.5 hours. Yeah.
So, so couple. Let's do a couple favorites before we move on, if you're okay with that. Seth, do you have a favorite kill in the franchise?
Oh goddamn! I wish you like.
I know. I just thought of this just now.
Uh,
I'll go
I,
first. Sheriff Garris is my favorite. I know it's not that bad, but it's brutal. He just gets bent back in half, and for some reason, the brutality. I don't need blood. I like just that sheer force of Jason bending the guy's body back. When really, if you push somebody's body like that, it will probably slide. So you got to admit that's pretty awesome kill. Anything where he uses his hands instead of a weapon, like when he crushes that guy's face, the pretty boy's face
yeah.
in part 4, those are some of my favorite kills. So I definitely Sheriff Garris is definitely one of my favorites. If it is my favorite, always has been.
The Sheriff Garris one, like that's the one that like sprang to mind.
Yeah.
But another one I really like is I think his name is Mark, the guy in the wheelchair in part two.
Oh yeah, that's an iconic kill. Yep.
Machete to the face and
Right to the
just
face.
down. Yeah,
Yeah,
brutal.
you. That's one of the kills you think of when you think of early Friday the 13th.
When
Um,
I first watched the movie, I was like, "Nah, they're not gonna do that. They're not gonna
yeah.
kill him."
Yeah, but like I remember watching, I think it was part 4, and they did kind of the recap, and they showed some of the kills, and that's one that always stuck as the wheelchair going
Yeah,
down the
yeah,
steps. I'm like, oh, that's brutal. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Favorite final girl.
Uh oh, Jenny.
Yes, Jenny. Uh, there's a great argument that could be made for Trish as well,
Yeah.
but Jenny's great. My favorite though is Megan. I like Megan Garris from Part Six. You're not gonna see much from me from Part Six that I don't like though. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, Jenny's great. I mean, she's way better than Alice was. And Alice had to
Yeah.
deal with just his mom, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right, one more. All right, one more. No, let's do two more. Two more. Okay.
Okay.
Favorite setting. Favorite setting out of all the movies. You got Packanack from two. You got Higgins Haven. You've got Crystal Lake, of course, in the first movie. Camp Crystal Lake, I should say. And then part five, you got I can't remember the name of the home they're in. Uh,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Something Field. I can't
I
remember
fucking know
offhand
it
what
too.
Yeah. And then, of course, you got part six is Crystal Lake or Forest Green, just pretty much the whole town. And seven, you're back at a cabin again in the woods. And then eight's the Lazarus in New York, Vancouver. And, so far and so on. But just tell me, which one is your favorite?
Surprisingly, I actually really like the setting of the first movie.
Yeah, Crystal Lake.
And it's weird to say that because I have not been very complimentary towards the first movie, but
No, we'll go over
there's
that.
something about that, like when I watch that movie, because I mean I do like it. It's just I don't think highly of it like a lot of people
Right.
do. But like, there's something about the first movie when I watch it. I just love the setting. I love the way it looks. It just, I don't know. There's something about it.
The
It
camp
has a
is very
feel.
expansive
And
too. It's not just like
yeah,
one little located area. Like when you get to Packanack in the second movie, it's one isolated location. There's the big house and then the two other little cabins for the men and the women to sleep in. But that's my favorite
yeah,
is Packanack. I also like Topanga Canyon at the Jarvis house. That's also a fun set. But the thing I like about Packanack is like everybody who was good and decided not to stay behind gets systematically picked off in the houses and in the which I really like that about part two. And not to mention we lose Crazy Ralph, rest in peace, in that movie. He's peeping on a girl, so he kind of gets what he deserves. We got some more rankings coming in. Oh man, that's a lot. Jason Goes to Hell last. Okay, not bad. Not wow. Jason Takes Manhattan at number four. I dig it. Wow, that is such a strange ranking. I like it. Oh man, I like where Freddy versus Jason is belongs more towards the bottom, in my opinion. Um,
and it's true what he said about Freddy vs. Jason.
well, it is. Freddy versus Jason is more of a Freddy Pinehurst. That's a yeah. Thank you. Um,
Yep.
lots of great sets. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good sets in this movie. Good settings. All right, last one, and I already know the answer, but I want to ask every time I ask a question, I want you guys to answer as well because this isn't just us. It's anybody who watches this live or watches this later. Favorite person, actor behind the mask to play Jason. That's for you
Oh,
also, Seth. I know what your answer is. Go ahead.
that's fucking easy. That's the easiest question. Ted White,
Ted White, yeah.
hands down.
Yeah, not for me, but I do like Ted White. Don't get me wrong, but my guy has got to be CJ. It's again part six. That's just my deal. I can't help it, and I don't want to help it. I love part six. Ted White's the man though. Like he made Jason scarier than anyone else did, and that's 100% for sure. Uh, I don't know about that great fight scene, but um, yeah. Is there anything else you want to say before we get into uh, the meat and potatoes of this episode of the Horror Syndicate horror movie Massacre? By the way, what do you guys think of that name? So title been sitting on for like fucking 10 years.
I like how you almost said discourse.
I
Um,
did almost say discourse. Well, I'm used to saying that. It's hard. Like I did a live show for my comic book company one time, and I was like, "Welcome to Horror Syndicate Discourse." I was like, "Yep, that's not what we're doing here. This is this is a comic show."
yeah,
Uh, it happens. What are you gonna do? Um, but I'm gonna share this in the Friday the 13th group. Maybe we'll grab some new Friday the 13th followers. But is there anything else you want to say?
No, not really.
This is the time for you to say stuff so I can share this out, and you're not going to oblige me.
Yeah. I don't know what's your least favorite kill in the series.
Anything off screen, basically. But if we were talking
For
about
the
one
first
that
movie.
you can see, yeah, the one that I think is kind of overrated is probably no, because I like Jason's mom's kill. I like that. I've always liked that one. Just the quick. There's no way that she would have been able to do that one, smooth stroke like that. But the one I think is a little bit overrated, and it is cool, but not my favorite. Is Jason X, the liquid nitrogen scene. That
Oh, really? You think it's overrated?
it never did anything for me. I was like, okay, that's cool, I guess. What about you? You got one?
Least favorite?
Yeah. And don't say the first movie because that's a cop out.
Um, Least favorite kill would probably be Jason and Jason Takes Manhattan.
That counts.
It
Uh,
does.
well, it could lead us to an absolute. What is the best way Jason meets his maker in the series? Is it part 4, which is I think kind of bullshit? Is it part 6, which it's not really killing him, it's trapping him, which I love. Or is it part 7 where a fake zombie dad comes up from nowhere and, and pulls him underwater? I don't think there's really any good one. I think the part 4 does have a great one because when the machete hits his head, and he slide. That's one of the best, coolest scenes in the entire series, in my opinion. But then Corey Feldman just hacking away, just it's like, eh. And Roy Burns does count. I did like the way they dispatched Roy. And by the way, Roy Burns is awesome. You got one more because I'm ready to do the rest of our lists. We're going to do the community
Nope,
list
that's it.
first. All right. So if you've been following the Horror Syndicate for a while, we've been doing the 5-star rating system, and we did Friday the 13th months ago, and finally got the final scores. I did release them upon the world about a month ago, and I just wanted to bring them up in the episode and give you your ratings, how you, the followers of the Horror Syndicate, at least the Facebook followers, rate rank the Friday the 13th movies based on the 5-star rating scale. And here it is. Jason, hopefully I didn't misspell anything. Jason Goes to Hell at 48% is number 12. And then there's a giant jump to Jason X. I'm so confused as how Jason X has got a 71%. When honestly, I think Jason Goes to Hell is far better than Jason X. Coming in at number 10 is Jason Takes Manhattan. Then Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning at 72%. The 2009 remake at 75%. Part 7, The New Blood at 78%. 3D at 83%. Way too high. And most of you fuckers say you love it because he got his mask. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Who cares? Freddy versus Jason is way too high. It's 87%. That movie sucks balls. And we did a whole episode last week talking about why that movie is overrated. Then you got Friday the 13th. There's a lot of respect for that movie in this community, which is good. 88%. Part 3, 89%, and part 2. I'm sorry, and part 6, Jason Lives, is 89%. And you wonder why I put part 2 below part 6 is because it percentage points. Part 2 was like 88.7. Part 6 was 89.2 or something like that. So I'm doing this legit. And then the final chapter, and obviously it's legit because I would never put the final chapter at number 1 if I had my way. Should have shaved a couple numbers off that. But as a franchise, the average is 79%, which is very high. So that's okay. This is a very beloved franchise. Seth, you got any commentary you want to throw on top of this?
Well, I disagree with Jason X and Jason Takes Manhattan being 71%, but I mean,
No.
I've seen it. These movies are getting fans now.
I mean, I guess Jason X is a lot of fun. I think Jason Takes Manhattan is a lot of fun, but I agree with you. I don't think they're anywhere near the '70s. Um,
Right. I mean, the 71%, that must have had a significant amount of like 5-star and 4-star,
it
right?
must have. I don't have my book in here. I don't think. Oh, I do. Let me look here. I got the Bible, the rating system Bible here, and I will
And
check
I'm
it
not
real
shitting on
quick.
anyone's opinion. If you like it or whatever, if you rate it a high, that's fine. I'm just saying, I personally, I don't. I think it's a it could be a fun movie. I see the appeal for some people where they could just put it on and have fun with it. But
So we had 6,500 rates, and 2,500 gave it a 5 star. Uh, Nearly 1,000 4 star and 1,300 3 star, which that right there gives you 70%. Then less than 800 on 2 star and 951 1 star. So the thing is, it all evens out. So
yeah,
you know,
but like it's funny though, because like you go back like I don't know, say like 10 years, and everyone would just trash that movie. Now all of a sudden it's getting all those 5, 4, and 3 stars. It's kind of funny.
it is. And it's whatever. I'm disappointed that there's such a gap between Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X, and I could see why people downvote Jason Goes to Hell, um, which really it out of 777 it got 87 5 stars, and it's not anywhere near a 5 star movie, but it's I'd say it's probably properly rated. I just don't believe that it's I think that's a shame. In my opinion, I just think that's a shame.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, 267 of the 777 were 1 star rates. Now, coming so what I said before, Friday the 13th Part Two was 88.5%, and Part Six was 89.1. So it's pretty close. The cool thing is Friday the 13th Part 4 had 5,200 rates, and 3,700 of them were 5 star rates. So there you go. Pretty cool. By the way, if anybody wonders why we're doing this, because I love numbers and I like doing this shit. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about Freddy versus Jason had the most rates of any of these movies. 14 shy of 14,000, which is kind of weird. 13,986, 8,975 were 5 star. Only 477, I was one of them, gave it a 1 star. And then, yeah, so Freddy vs. Jason is way too high. I could see the appeal, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could totally see the appeal on that one because it's it's got two horror icons against each other, and what I thought was kind of a shitty fight, but whatever. Oh yeah, just wait till you see our list. Our lists are coming up. We're gonna put so what we're what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go look at. I got images of our personal lists on one side, and then our slash scores because they differ a little bit, which is kind of interesting because we took our personal feelings out of how we felt about the movie and came up with the slash score, which if you know anything about those, it's a percentage. It's 10 categories 1 through 10, and let's go over Seth's first. So here's Seth's, and I apologize for the crudeness of this. I did this today and then fucking jacked it up. So let me take that down so we can see it properly. So Seth, let's go over your list a little bit for a minute.
Okay.
Okay, so some of them are ranked near the same. Like Jason X is 100% the same. Jason Goes to Hell and Jason Takes Manhattan are flip flopped. But Freddy versus Jason Friday the 13th are flip flopped. The remake you personally have lower than what your slash score is, um, way lower, and then 3D is nearly in the same spot. New Blood is nearly in the same spot. New Beginning nearly in they're like one away from, if not for Friday the 13th Part 4 in your slash score. I mean, not Part 4, the remake. Yours would be very close to the same. So let's talk about why you rated yours the way they are.
Well, like you said, we took our personal feelings out of the equation, and we were based on our system that we have. We were judging it based on, writing, directing, acting, just overall quality related stuff. And the thing with this franchise is, especially the early films, in particular, um, I guess even some of the later ones too, but they're not the best made movies. And I, I think the big reason why my personal ranking is different is because that doesn't matter to me. They don't have to be the best made movies, right? They just have to be entertaining. Um, Now, when it comes to like my ranking, I would say the first eight are movies that I really enjoy. My
Oh,
top
the
eight.
first eight.
The first eight on my ranking list are the ones I
Okay,
really
I was gonna say
enjoy.
the first eight because you dog uh, my Jason Takes Manhattan. I love that movie.
Right. I would never say a kind word about that movie.
Uh, we'll get you one of these days.
Yeah, but so like I really like the remake. I think the remake had a lot better quality in certain technical aspects. But I have a real soft spot for the early Paramount films, especially the first six, but also seven is really good too. So I put all those above the remake. The only one I put below it is the original film, as I said in the beginning of the show. And if you've been following us for a while, it's not that I hate the first movie. It's just I don't really think very highly of it. For me, this series really took off with part two. Um,
Well, I mean, and we know Sean Cunningham made the first movie to make money based, basically off the back of Halloween. So
yeah.
he's
Oh yeah.
copycat
I mean,
essentially, a poor
I, I
copycat.
I don't really think Cunningham is all that great as a director. I didn't
No.
really. I mean, even Victor Miller's script wasn't anything special. So like, I don't want to get into the whole subject about them. But anyway, I enjoyed the movie, but it's one of my least favorites. But yeah, so that's basically it. I mean, the my slash score was based on more of a, I don't know, um, a system that we had in place
Hmm.
for the film's technical merits, but I just personally like other ones in different spots. So I'm just
And
rambling.
it's, well, I mean, no, you're not rambling. It's cool because when you get down to the top couple, you're not far off. Like Final Chapter is your favorite, obviously, and that
Yeah,
did get one of the highest scores, and for good reason. It is one of the best of the series. And same thing with Jason Lives in Part Two. Those three, in my opinion, are the best of the Friday the 13th movies. Those three are the best, without a doubt.
hands
Uh,
down.
yeah, and anybody can say I'm wrong or whatever, and that's fine. I mean, everybody has their own opinion. Like I said, like I asked, what is your number one Friday the 13th film? Leave that in the comments and let us know, because it's different for everyone. Just like we asked the question, "What's your favorite Jason?" And people are saying Kane Hodder, and some people it's Brooker. Tom Morga. There's Dick Warlock actually was Jason for a spell. So yeah, I mean that's the great thing about the series is there's so much to choose from.
Yeah,
Uh, it's not the only great thing. There's a lot of great things. I love this franchise as a whole. There's like really even like I dog part three a lot, But even part three, I have a lot of fun with. I'm a fan of Shelley's character. I love the biker gang. Ali is actually one of my favorites because you think he's dead. He comes back to help out towards the end, and that iconic, even though it was made for 3D with the axe hitting the head, and he's still coming after Chris. But Chris really kills me for that movie, and so does the working everything for 3D and a guy who eats food after shitting and not wiping.
Yeah, I mean, I like part three obviously more than you do. I have it higher up on my list than you do,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Amy Steele is fantastic. Let's take one quick look at yours again. I have met her. She's very nice. She's lovely. Yeah, so you have part three at number 6 and 7. So here's my list. Uh, I used a different font for mine because when I did Seth's, I was trying to be cool, using the old Death Curse fonts, if you will. So yeah, I hate Jason X, and I'm my like and hate in a way where I hate it because it's not as good as the others. There's a lot of fun to be had. I don't like the mask. I don't like Uber Jason, and I don't like the setting. So it's my least favorite. And then Freddy vs. Jason is my lowest scored one because it gets worse every time I see it. There are like bad CGI. The story is awful in my opinion, and I don't like the cast. And that's something about this series. And Seth, you might agree with me. Even though most of them are like cannon fodder, they're gonna die. The cast for the first 7 or 8 movies is pretty damn good. They're you like a lot of them. And not just
Yeah,
Slendergirl.
yeah, they're likable enough without having any real like character arcs or anything.
Right.
They're just like fun people to hang out with and to watch
Yeah, you're
die
right. Yeah, I'd party with them. You know.
in a
But
safe
yeah,
location.
yeah. But you can see I've got 3D at number 10. Jason Goes to Hell. Jason Takes My Tat. So I like both of those for the most part because Jason Goes to Hell. I understand what Adam Marcus had to do, especially after speaking with him about it. He was hired to do a job, and he did the job that he was hired to do. And I thought he did a fine job. It's a weird movie. I saw it in the theater too, which I thought was cool. I love Jason Takes Manhattan. It's just stupid. Plus, the opening theme song is really good. I like it anyway. Uh, yeah, I'm not a big fan of the 1980 film like Seth, but I'm not as hard on it as Seth. It's kind of a boring film, to be honest. There's some great effects in the movie, but the characters are the least likable. I think the one I really wanted to see more of was Annie. She gets killed pretty fast. But otherwise, Adrienne King, she's a lovely woman, but I didn't care for Alice all that much. I like Steve Christie better anyway with his neckerchief. Anyway, New Blood is underrated in my opinion. A lot of people give it hate for some reason. I like it. I think that I would love to see, and I'm sure anybody would agree with me. I would love to see the unrated version of that we will never get to see.
Yep.
A New Beginning is extremely underrated. It goes back to the roots. It takes what they were trying to do in part one, which is a whodunit, and did it better, in my opinion, and used a copycat Jason because supposedly Jason was dead and ashes, but he wasn't. Plus, you get a great nightmare sequence with Corey Feldman because he had to drop out to be in Goonies, which honestly is a better choice, in my opinion. Goonies is a fantastic film. I have Final Chapter in my personal list at 3, which is kind of edgy, I guess. But I love Part 2, and Part 2 is one that gets better and better each year, in my opinion. And then Final Chapter, Part 2, and Jason Lives. Those are the best 3. And Jason Lives is just that's like the first one I saw, and I fell in love with the series because of that movie. And it's got a little bit of everything for everybody, in my opinion, except for nudity. No boobs in that one. And which I need to take. Maybe part 4 is better. There's way more boobs in that one. I love boobs. We got a lot of comments rolling in. Let me get through these comments and then we'll start counting them down. Let's see. I love 2 through 7 for varying reasons. Yeah, they're all good. Friday the 13th, the remake needed to be darker. I thought it was pretty dark. I thought the cast was good too, actually. I thought they were stupendous. I like part 2, but I hated Sackhead. Ginny Whoop. I like Sackhead Jason, actually. I wish he would have stuck around a little bit longer. And I love that in the remake, they were able to have both masks in there. I just don't like how he got his mask in the remake. I thought that was stupid.
Yeah, that was a dumb scene.
Which one had Joanna Man? And that was part 5. He plays Demon, and that shitbox is gross. That's that's one of my favorite scenes. That like he's taking a shit, and his girlfriend comes up there and starts banging on the thing. You're gonna get it, bitch. And then they start singing, "Ooh baby, ooh baby." It's like, who sings to their boyfriend while they're shitting? I want that girl. Does Amber do that for you? You feel better once you shit. Final chapter. Put it on the old computer.
He fucking disconnected his voice doing that. Good job, Ray.
Yeah. My computer is 9 years old. Okay, it's borderline dying. So anyway,
Well, the computer says you're a dead fuck.
Yeah, the computer. That's what happened. I became a dead fuck just now. Yeah, I love A New Beginning, man. It's a good one. Part 2 had a great cast. Yeah, most of them were cast well with young and up and comers. I really like that we got to see Amy Steele and April Fool's Day a couple years later, because that was a fun role and she did great. And I like her a lot, actually.
Yeah,
he is a fucking sweet person, man. I tell you what. So we are done with that. So we're moving on to our overall scores and our overall rankings, and we're going to do these one at a time for your pleasure and mine, because we're going to kind of talk about each film for a minute, maybe. But I want to remind anybody who has not done it, we need 20 more subscribers to get to 1,300. We have 35,000 followers on the Facebook page, and yet we're struggling to get more people to subscribe. If you have a Gmail account, you can subscribe. This show will get better with more subscribers. Trust me, because eventually we can make money, and then we can put more money into the show. And don't forget the Horror Syndicate Discourse is brand new and fresh on Sunday with the Autopsy of Jane Doe breakdown. It's a good one. Check it out if you have not seen it. I do believe it's on Netflix. Okay, Seth. Are you ready for this shit, man? Are you fucking ready? It's gonna be a doozy. Part 7 is underrated. Yeah, absolutely agree.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into this shit. You'll feel better once you shit. That's the story of my life. Legit. If I wrote a book, it would feel you'd feel better once you shit. I tried pooping before the show. Nothing happened. Seth said shit, get off the pot. I had to get off the pot. Anyway. So coming in at number 12, this is our combined scores, Seth and I. So you're going to take our list and merge them together, and this is the score that we come up with. So guess what number 12 is? Can anybody guess what number 12 is? Not you, Seth. You already know what it is. I got to get used to my camera not being in front of me. It's right there. Computer's here. Don't guess. You can't. I want somebody to comment with a guess. And I'm not going anywhere until we're not starting until somebody comments. Yeah, okay, there's one. Is she right? Yes! Jason X, 41%. Why? Because it's a turd. Nope. What more can we say about this movie? So I already said what I don't like. I don't like Uber Jason. I hate his mask. And the kills are okay. They use CGI a little bit much. I hate the setting. There's a few good things about this one, but what about you?
Yeah, well, honestly, the thing that I just really don't like is Uber Jason. Like, if it was just, and I know his mask wasn't great as is, but if it was just regular Jason throughout the entire thing, I think I probably would have it up maybe a notch or two higher. It's fun. It's dumb. It's got a bad script. Wannabe aliens type script.
Wannabe Hellraiser 4.
Yeah,
no, that's totally different.
Yeah.
So I'm still confused. We're sitting at 3 likes. Please hit the like button on this video. Come on. We Papa needs something. Yes, Jason X. Jason X is garbage in my opinion. So number 12 was Jason X. Number 11 is going to be Jason Takes Manhattan. The score got lowered a lot by Seth.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's fine. It's deserved. It's not a great movie. I'm not sure why Jason's slimy throughout the whole movie. I like the mask though. This is a new mask because his mask in Seven got busted apart, and this is Kane Hodder's second time as Jason, and he was perfect in Part Seven, and he just keeps getting worse in each movie, in my opinion. But you got some cool scenes in New York and one of the worst endings of the series. I thought you were going to
Yeah.
agree with me. I was like waiting for you to, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's got a it. The script is shit. The direction is shit. You know, the whole teleportation thing is dumb. The whole toxic waste in New York City is dumb. I don't, but there are a couple positives I have for it. One, of course, is Julius, who is badass, and his fight
Oh, hell
is
yeah.
that scene is really great. Um, and then I also liked McCullough as a secondary villain.
Yeah, and then people
And
don't see
and
that.
of course, I like
Who?
yeah,
Oh,
and of
Seth.
course I like Rennie too. I think she was a very likable lead character. It's just unfortunate the ship, the entire movie. I think that would have been really cool. I think it's especially the New York stuff that just kind of loses me.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that was a good idea from the get. So, coming in at number 10 is Jason Goes to Hell. I don't know what to say about it. I like this one. And it's weird. Like for a long time for me, it was getting worse and worse. And then like over the last 2 years or so, I've started to like kind of warm up to it more. And I think Jason Takes a Boat, proper title. I think that it's I don't know. I think it's getting better for some reason. Maybe because it's so different compared to all the other ones. But and plus again, I guess maybe I'm because I like Adam Marcus as a person. I like it a little bit better. But I don't know. What do you think?
Well, it's like I said in our episode on it. Like I think as a Friday the 13th movie, it's shit. But as like this weird sort of like body horror movie, I think it's kind of fun. Um, I like
Well,
a lot
there's
of the
some.
characters in it,
Yeah,
especially they're
yeah.
pretty colorful characters. Yeah, and like some of the effects work is really cool too. I think it's got some great effects work. It's got probably one of the best kills in the series. The whole tent thing, the pole splitting that chick in
Not
half.
just that, the whole body melt scene after Jason, uh,
Yeah,
is done with the body. That was some great stuff. Yeah, I think this one deserves
yeah,
another look. Jason looks stupid, and he's barely in the movie. Like his physical form with the hockey mask is barely in the movie. But you do also, you get a
his
couple
fucking
great
head looks like a
characters.
piece of popcorn.
Yeah, it does. It's all fucking bloated. But you get a couple good characters like Creighton Duke. You get
Yep,
I even like Steven as a character too because he lets Creighton Duke break his fingers. He does whatever it takes to make sure his girlfriend or his ex girlfriend, baby mama, and the baby are safe from Jason. So he's very
yep.
proactive, which I liked him. Coming in at number 9, no, yeah, number 9 is Freddy versus Jason. Watch last episode. I don't want to talk about this one again. Do you want to say anything about this again?
I mean, I don't hate it like you do. Um,
It gets
I
worse
think
every
it's
review. You didn't even get to watch it again, though.
no, I know, but I mean, I've seen it a shitload of times, and maybe that's the thing. Maybe it's a nostalgia factor for me because it was such a big deal around the time it came out, and it was
Freddy.
so it's kind of like
Looks like he's wearing
personal
some
to me a
fucking
little bit.
MC Hammer
Like,
pants.
what's that?
Freddy looks like he's wearing some MC Hammer pants. How loose
He,
those things are.
hey, he needed an upgrade, but like, it's a better Freddy movie than a Jason movie for sure.
Yes, but this is actually anybody who watches the Freddy show next week. This is actually going to be the same score. So
Yeah,
here's a spoiler for the next episode. And this is not the only time that we'll cross over because we will be have to do the same thing with two Alien versus Predator movies when we do the Alien series and the Predator series because we are going to do both at some point.
sweet.
Ginger Snaps is in it. Yes, Catherine Isabel, the most overrated horror actress, is in the movie. I've never been a fan of hers. People love her for some reason. I liked
What don't
what's
you
her
like
name?
about her?
Her face mostly. No, I don't think she's that good of an actress, and she's got this look on. Maybe it is her face. She always has this look on her face like she's doing smell the fart acting, and so I don't know. I just don't like her. I just think she's kind of overrated because like when I did Nightfall Unlimited, we were talking about let's do a month of horror stuff for October, and we'll do 10 days of Scream Queens, and one of them was like, let's do Catherine Isabel. I was like, why her? Because she was in the Ginger Snap movies. She was in American Mary and this. It's like, does she count? I don't like her. And then she was also in Supernatural at one point, which oddly enough, I was happy to see her show up.
Yep, season 2.
So yeah, I was like, oh, look who it is. Jason.
I liked her. I liked her arc in that.
Yeah, her arc was good in that, and you didn't expect what happened to happen with her character.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which was good. I just never was a fan. Yes, I did see American Mary. It was okay. I don't get the why people like that movie either, but maybe somebody can convince me otherwise. So number 8 is the original, the Innovator, Friday the 13th, and my score I think was 64. Yours was 50, so it comes out at a 57. I think I believe everything that you say is valid about this movie, 100%. But I will say this scene that I captured here is extremely iconic, and it helps the movie a ton, in my opinion. Whether it's a dream, whether it's real, it's one of the most iconic horror scenes of all time. And I think Betsy Palmer, who wanted to get a new car or something, or get her car fixed, she was amazing in the role. But everything else is blah about this movie. Every fucking thing else is blah about this movie, with the exception of this last scene and Betsy Palmer, essentially.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I also like sort of like going back to what we talked about in the beginning as far as setting. I do like the setting for the movie,
yes.
And I like the look and feel of it, and that's even though this is really low on my list, and I say that I don't think highly of it. When I do revisit it quite often, right? Because it is one of the Paramount movies that so naturally I go to them.
The Magnificent Eight.
Yeah, well, 7.
Well, I know that, but there's 8 of them. No, don't take Jason Takes Manhattan out.
But there is that appeal for me. Is I do like the visual aesthetic of it, but and the score from Harry Manfredini, especially in this, especially in this scene at the end, like leading up to it being all like calm and peaceful. It's just it's good.
It's that Carrie jump scene moment. It feels like when Sue Snell is walking up to the grave or Carrie's old house or whatever, Carrie White burning hell and all that stuff, and you just think she's placing flowers down, then the hand jumps up. I mean, you get this thing, she's out on the boat, running her hands through the water, the music's so calm and serene, all of a sudden this fucking disfigured boy pops out of the water. It's like, fuck. I mean, I didn't have the reaction that people in the theater probably had, because I saw it much later, but still, it is a great moment regardless of a jump scare or not.
Yeah. Didn't Cunningham admit to ripping off Carrie for that too?
Cunningham is Mr. Ripoff. It's between him and Victor Miller are both a couple of fucking ripoffs. And then these motherfuckers had the audacity to hold the franchise hostage for like 5 years. Anyway, let's move on. You got
Give
something
the
else?
rights back to Frank Mancuso Jr.
Yes, I mean I love Frank Mancuso Jr. actually, especially after watching that documentary, Crystal Lake Memories. Not seen
Yeah,
that? It's 100% worth watching. I believe it's on Shutter. We have been we should have been watching. Jeez, I can't fucking read that, please.
he should have been watched. He wasn't a very good swimmer.
And seen. All right. This fucking light is bothering me. The one that I have shining on my face. It's like causing some kind of weird glare effect. Coming in next at part number 7 is part 3, uh, Friday the 13th in 3D. Which, if you watch it in 3D, it doesn't help this movie one bit. But Jason gets his iconic hockey mask. He deals with a girl that he tried to rape, maybe. Chris Higgins, who is the worst of the worst, in my opinion. But what else is there to say about this one? Tell us why you don't like the beginning of this movie.
Why I don't like the beginning of it?
Oh, you know what I'm talking about. Come on.
Well, the guy not wiping or washing his hands after taking a dump.
And then eating afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and he's only the first of 2 characters in this one movie who doesn't wipe or wash their hands.
Who's the other one?
The Cheech wannabe.
Excuse me. Tommy Chong. He's a Tommy Chong wannabe.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, my bad.
Yeah. But yeah, I
But
forgot about that. What?
part 3,
What?
I do enjoy. I actually like it quite a bit. I like Shelley. I
I
like
love Shelley.
I like the whole how they played the whole boy who cried wolf thing and the way
Yeah.
it paid off. I liked I did not like Chris at all, and I do not buy into the rape thing because Jason has never needed to get his noodle wet before. He's been around plenty of chicks who've been naked, and he's never been to Pound Town. So I don't understand why they threw that in there. It just makes no sense for the character.
You know, I have a theory actually. I have a theory that it was her dad. Always thought it was her dad. She in her in her PTSD, she thought it was some mongoloid because she didn't want to believe it was her dad. I can't believe. I'm with you. 100%. There's no fucking way it was Jason.
Yeah,
Maybe it was Rick. He looks like a mongoloid. Even before he gets his eye popped out.
could be.
There's some merit to this one. I mean, again, he gets the hockey mask. The hockey mask gets that iconic axe
Yeah.
cutout, which ends up on 2 other masks that aren't the same mask because he loses this mask. Go ahead.
Oh, go on. I'll try to remember my thought.
Remember it. Don't listen to me. But he gets 2 different masks in part 6, and like Tommy Jarvis, I'm assuming made the part 6 mask, and then the part 7 or part 8 mask. Who knows where that came from? They all had the axe wound. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with that. The only I was going to say was another thing that I really liked about this movie was the score.
Oh, I love the opening.
I'm not even talking about the techno thing. I'm more talking about the
Disco, by the way.
disco. Sorry, wow, I keep screwing up tonight. I should just go sit in the corner and think about my life.
Should go in that shit box. It's gross,
baby. Anyway, I really liked Harry Manfredi's score, especially in the third act. And there's that one scene where I just really love the way it just plays out with when Chris goes out onto the porch and she yells for Rick, and the camera pans back.
Oh
and,
yeah. Yeah.
Just the music is so great there. I do like that camera movement revealing. I like the the way it became like all like windy and like you got like fall leaves everywhere.
Yeah, I was made aware recently that we had a girl named Chris Higgins in my high school graduate class. And she died this year. Anyway, I don't know why I said that. So yeah, that's a great scene, and I will admit there are some good filming moments and cinematography moments from this film. And you got to credit Steve Miner a little bit. Every time I watch the part two, his first movie of this series, I always think like, what happened between now and 1998?
With Halloween.
Yeah, because
Halloween water.
Halloween H2O is fucking awful, and like he went like on a downhill slope. I mean, he even directed House, and House is good. But like, what happened in '98? You just shit the bed. Did you watch too much Party of Five or Dawson's Creek? I don't know. Anyway, that's number seven. Coming in, coming in next is at six is number five, part five, A New Beginning. Fake Jason, imposter Jason, Roy Burns lives. You sons of bitches. Junior and Ethel live. Tommy Jarvis is the most badass he ever was as a hand-to-hand fighter. You get Demon singing with his girlfriend in the shitter, in the shit box. You get Reggie the Reckless, Pam in the pink sweater. What else is there?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yes. Melanie Kinnaman, who plays Pam, said that sweater was her bane in that movie because there are shots with her running with it and without it throughout the chase scene towards the end of the film. I love this movie. I've grown to love it more and more. Damn enchiladas, yeah. More and more every year, every time I watch it because man, it's just fun. It's a whodunit. Like we knew it wasn't Jason, of course, because we've already seen the sixth movie. He hurt me, Ma. And you gotta love Roy Burns is so fucking strong that he can, machete chop some motherfucker's head off while he's on a motorcycle. That's impossible. And then you got the whole leather strap kill, which is pretty fun. You got the biggest boobs of all time in Friday the 13th history with Deborah Sue Voorhees, aptly named. Rest in peace. Yeah, she just died recently. That's true. 72, mid 30s. Come on. Um, I like it, man. I know you like it too. We've bonded over this one a little bit.
Yeah, this is one I've always felt was like super underrated, and
Yeah.
I know our friend Sean really loves it.
Yeah.
Um,
He loathes it.
but like one of the things I really like about it is the characters. Though I mean, I like Tommy a lot in this. I like what's his name? Is it John Shepard?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked him as Tommy.
Hmm.
Um, I thought he played it well with being like psychologically tortured, and not to mention he was a badass. Like he was fast, and he took motherfuckers down pretty fast.
Yeah, he did.
Um, so I like that. I like. I'm sorry, Sean, but I like Ethel and Junior. I think they're fun characters. I like the cokehead guy. Flurries up the nose.
And Flurry, it's showtime. This movie also had the most breasts.
Yeah,
That might be another reason why I like it so much. I'm not shy. I love a good boob shot. And
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 and I love that the catalyst for this movie is a fucking chocolate bar. And and I love that
and
Roy Burns kills everyone not responsible for his son's death. The one guy that killed him gets away.
yeah, he does get
Everyone,
away, Vic. I never thought about that. You're right. Oh, I guess I mean like in a way, uh, they make your balls hurt. That's weird, but okay. Um,
well, yeah, it's just funny though. Like like certain, how movies have like a certain like thing that sets off the story,
yeah.
because in this one, the catalyst of the script, of the whole story, of the whole plot, is someone trying to offer a chocolate bar and
Well,
getting
I
away.
mean, Joey obviously was the one who gets picked on at the camp or at Pinehurst, whatever you want to call it. It's
Hmm.
Pinehurst, but um, and he always wanted to help. This fucking kid goes over to the girls with the clean laundry, gets his chocolate hands all over. By the way, like he must be in his mid 20s with a brain of a 3-year-old. To know that he's got chocolate all over. Like, at what point does an adult stop having chocolate all over their fucking face and all over their fucking hands? You know, you know what I mean? Like he's got it on the side of each of his mouth corners, and then he goes to Vic of all people, who's holding an axe. What are you thinking, Joey?
Well, if that's the way you feel about it.
There we go. But I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of bad things about this movie. I'm not gonna lie, there are. But I don't know. I find things about it that I just genuinely like, you know, and it may not be the greatest. It's not the greatest Friday the 13th movie, but I don't know. It's a lot of fun. I think that you know, there's a lot to be said if you go back and rewatch this movie. There's some good stuff in there.
Yeah.
So anyway, 1 second because I forgot to do something. Because you know me, I always forget shit.
Way to go, you big dildo.
Would you shut the fuck up? I just love the way that she talks to Junior. You know, you get a mom. He's like rooting her on, and she tells him to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
What a great mom. There it is. Okay. So moving on. Oh, hold on. We gotta get Sean. This movie has some charm, but it's a misfire for me. Well, part of it also is the director is just a fucking sleazeball, man. I swear. All his other movies were like softcore pornos to porno. Um, Danny, shit, Danny Stein, I think was his name.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right, let's move on to number 5. We've spent enough time on this one. Number 5 is part 7. I like part 7. I like the idea that Jason finally meets somebody who can kind of match up with him. And we get more of a supernatural feel to this one, even though, of course, Jason comes back to life in the previous film. But I like that they lean into the supernatural element a little bit more. Yeah, I like this. Plus, Jason has never looked cooler, in my opinion. And I love the idea that he just goes like back to the woodshed to get a different tool, like this fucking tool that nobody had ever seen before until this movie.
Yeah.
It's a fun movie. It's a fun one.
I love it myself. You know, even though like I've Kane Hodder's not really my favorite Jason. Like you said, the look of him in this movie is so awesome, and I mean Kane does well, especially in this movie. And I think it's just especially with the way that he looks and the way it's shot.
A lot of it though also goes back to John Carl Buechler, who's actually from my hometown. Who said he wanted Jason to have all the scars and all the shit that's happened to him and the mask in this movie. He did a hell of a job. He's still got the chain around his neck from part 6. He's got the propeller blade marks from part 6, which is one of my favorite parts about that mask. That's how chewed up it is. And then, you know, in his back, you can see his spine. You can see his fucking bones and shit. Awesome. Plus, when the mask breaks and you get to see that face only a mother could love, he looks fucking otherworldly. He doesn't look human at all.
Yeah.
At that point, love it. But the story's not very good. The acting's not very good. They apparently called this one Friday the 13th because I guess there was a homoerotic feel to it, which I never noticed. Same thing with Nightmare 2. I never noticed that either. But I was a kid when I saw these. I still don't see it though.
I don't see it with this movie at all.
Well, they said that in the documentary. That is the best scene in the whole fucking movie. Fuck you. No, fuck you both. Opens the door, axe in the head, tossed across the room. Fuck yes.
Yeah.
Best scene in the whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do like this one a lot. This was the one, if I remember correctly, that when I bought all 8 on VHS when I was 16, because I went to the store, I actually got a fucking ticket on the way to pick these up because they had them 2 for $15. And I just so happened to have over $60. I was like, let's do this. And anyway, I was on my way back and I got pulled over. And my mom's like, how are you going to pay for this ticket? Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I guess that money you just made is going to go towards the ticket. I was like, you don't know what I just bought.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Ennio Morricone. But yeah, anyway, moving on. You ready to move on? What?
Well, I was going to just talk a little bit more about it.
Go ahead.
So one thing is, I love the way this movie starts off with a narration from Walt
Oh my
Gorney, the guy
God,
that played
yes.
Crazy Ralph. It was
Yep.
great that they brought him back to do that.
There's a legend
Um,
around here.
yep. And the score for this movie, I really, really dig it.
Mm-hmm.
I it's just it's really great. Um, I like some of the characters too. Like I don't really care for the whole telekinesis thing uh, with this, but I do like I do like some of the characters. Like I like especially the two, again, I'm gonna use this term, secondary villains in this movie with Dr. Cruz
Bad News Crew.
and and what's her face there,
Melissa.
Melissa. Yeah, I think those were great secondary villains for the movie. Yeah, I just really dig this one quite a bit. It's a little underrated. I scored a little low because I don't really care for the whole telekinesis thing. Um, and some of the like supporting characters, some of the other supporting characters, the main group of friends, some of them are not really interesting, but yeah, I like it. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Yes. Well said. So we'll move on to number 4, the remake. Part of me feels bad that we didn't, and it doesn't really need to be included, but include Never Hike Alone. And I just thought about this because I know our old friend Vince hates this movie. This to me was a welcome addition to the Friday the 13th franchise. I actually saw it 3 times in 3 days because I was in need of a new Friday the 13th movie, something bad in 2009, and I needed to get to the movies a lot back then because my son was about to be born, and I didn't see the inside of a movie theater for almost a year because of him. Uh, I told him that I was like, "You son of a bitch! I missed out on so many movies in the theater because of you." No, but yeah, I really had a lot of fun with this one. The brilliant decision. It's like, how do you remake Friday the 13th when Friday the 13th is a who done it? We know who did it. It's no, there's no going to be no surprise. Oh, you're going to put it during the credits. Brilliant. That was fucking brilliant. And then uh, you did have like 2 openings, that and then the people looking for the pot and Whitney and all that stuff.
Yep.
Uh, and at least Jared Padalecki's character Clay had a motivation.
Yeah.
He was looking for his sister.
He's the better written version of Rob.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because it's pretty much the same idea. I mean, this movie is it can be somewhat of an amalgamation of the first 4 movies, really.
Totally.
Yeah, and I think I don't know what people complain. What is it about this movie that people don't like? I mean, is it because Jason like runs and chucks an axe at somebody? No, that's badass.
Jason ran in the like in 2, 3, and 4.
Right, I know. That's what I'm saying. Is it because Jason kind of used a guy as bait? Why wouldn't he?
The big one that I hear often that I kind of understand is the whole hostage thing, where he takes Whitney as a.
Well, yeah, but that I'm fine with that because it looked like it was his mom.
Yeah, supposedly, but like here's the reason why it doesn't bother me so much is because to me it was just like more of an updated version of the whole thing with Ginny's trick in part 2. Yeah, I mean, he was so stupid he believed this blonde was his mother just by wearing the sweater she wore one day. So like I kind of figured
this one day when he was supposedly dead.
Yeah. So like it kind of goes back to that whole thing, and if I personally feel like if I didn't mind that part of part 2, then I really shouldn't mind what they were attempting to do. I will say that the picture that they showed and even the actress that played Pamela in the very beginning looks nothing like the actress that played Whitney at all. But I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, it's still a fun movie. It has we talked about part five having the largest breast. This movie has the best ever.
The most stupendous.
Well, I mean, yes, of course we love the line, and we love how douchey Trent is, and we I'm glad that this movie and Transformers is connected. Uh, they're in the same universe because he's the same guy.
Same
Um,
actor, same character name.
yep,
Yep.
exactly. Uh, but and you know what? I like the Travis Van Winkle. I think is his name. I actually
Yeah.
like him for being such a douche because I don't think he's actually like that in real life.
Yeah.
But he plays it so well.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie's fun, man. There's a lot of fun to be had in this one. You know, there's some really innovative kills. We get to see Jason use a bow, which was pretty cool. Uh, and I love the Willa Ford kill where just she's hiding under the and her boobs bounce a little bit. Gotta love that. But there's a lot of cool stuff that happened. I love the scene in the shed with the kid that hands him a hockey stick. I love that. It's just some fun stuff in this one. You know.
Yeah. Well, and Derek Mears is badass
Oh,
as
and yes,
Jason.
we cannot forget Derek Mears. He rules as Jason. And if they make another Friday the 13th film, call him. He's available. He loves the character. And yeah, he was built to play Jason. Um,
Yes.
and I don't want to hear anybody say, "Oh, it's got to be Kane Hodder." Kane Hodder is the same situation as Robert England. He's not as old, but Kane Hodder's starting to break down, guys. He's getting up there. He's in his mid 60s at this point. Call CJ. He's in great shape still. Anyway, he is. He's always been in great shape. So we're down to our final three. How do you think they'll stack up? We have three movies left. If you've been keeping track, you should know which three movies we have left. And coming in at number three, Seth, do you have any idea how these laid out? Because I did not show them to you.
I would imagine part two is three, and I feel like someone probably made the wrong decision, and Jason Lives is number one.
So Friday the 13th Part 2 is number three. And we discussed this earlier in the show where we said, hey, three are the top best three are four, two, and six. Not in that order, but it doesn't matter. I mean, you can interchange these. Friday the 13th Part 2 was a mile, maybe even 10 miles better than the original film. More compelling
Hands.
characters. In my opinion, a better setting. You like Crystal Lake, but I love Packanack. I love the idea that we're dealing with people who are being trained to be counselors, and I mean that right there is perfect. Um, and of course, Jenny. I love Jenny.
Yep. Ginny is my favorite final girl in this series. I love this scene right here, that you have captured for
Oh,
the.
it's an iconic image. I tried to find as many as I could iconic. So
Yeah, it's just a great moment. I think, like, the only thing that really holds it down for me is like the first, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. The whole thing with Alice.
yeah.
Um, but after that, like I remember when I first watched these, um, I started a little bit out of order, but when I after I saw part six, I went back to part one and I started watching them in order. And one of the things that I felt about this the first time I watched it, in comparison to the first film, is that I felt like this one actually was a little creepy and a little scary in certain aspects of it. Especially watching on VHS when it's all grainy,
Hmm.
on the old box TVs that killed Stu. Um, where watching the watching the high def now, like you see Jason in the corner in that one
Oh
scene,
yeah, that hurts a
but
little
like
bit. Yeah.
yeah, but like when I first watched it, I didn't see him there, and just the urgency in her voice as she says there's someone in the fucking room. I just love it. And the wheelchair death is great.
Hmm.
Yeah, the my only issue with this is the opening scene, but
And I
after
and
that,
I agree with you 100%. Like that makes no sense.
yeah,
Like she lives in California, I think, right?
yeah,
And we established later that Camp Crystal Lake is in New Jersey. So it's Jason travel. It's like it's as ridiculous as Michael Myers traveling to California in H2O. Steve Miner, that son of a bitch. 2 movies he did this. I just realized that. And you know
Well,
what?
but it's more forgivable with Halloween though, because they established that um, someone around Smith's Grove possibly gave him lessons. So you could
Did
understand
somebody
him
teach
traveling,
him how to
but
read a fucking map?
well, he knew how to. He drove 150 miles from Smith's Grove to.
I know, but there's a straight highway, I bet, and it says 25 miles to Haddonfield. Does Michael Myers even know what a fucking state is?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna have
Exactly.
we'll get into this when we get to H2O.
But
Somehow
like,
we end up talking about Halloween every time.
yeah. But how do you know which exit to take? I mean, Michael's an enigma, right?
Listen, I live in Illinois, and some of these fucking highways lead right into town. I'm just saying. They don't, but I don't know.
All I'm saying is like with Halloween, at least they had a precedent to go by, right? Whereas,
Well, no, this is way more preposterous than Halloween, for sure. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
because Michael Myers in H2O, he raids Loomis's office, and he obviously gets the information from there on where Laurie is, which I don't know why Loomis would have that. But we'll get into that when we get to H2O, because I'm gonna have to torture myself and rewatch that movie again come October, which I do every year. So Friday the 13th Part 2 is number 3, and anybody watching, what do you think number 2 is? Because obviously we have 2 left, and 2 is either 4 or 2 is either 6. And it's generally always comes down to these 2 in any fan ranking. Seth, I know you can see it. Do you keep the thing up whenever we do these so you can see what the rankings are? I bet you do, you son of a bitch. I knew it. I knew I couldn't trust you.
I don't even know
Number
what you're
2 is
asking
Friday
right
the
now.
13th, the final chapter. Sorry, Seth.
So I
I
was right.
rated
Someone made an error,
so
and
no.
somehow
I rated
your
this
math got mixed up.
I rated this how I thought it was. This movie at times is boring to me. And I've told you that. I think there's some parts that drag. There's a lot of good here. I don't particularly like all the kids in this one. Ted is a prick. The one guy with the hat, I don't even remember his name. Uh, uh, Judy Aronson's boyfriend. Like, they're
Yeah.
forgettable. I mean, like, I don't know. This is also the last this is like the last stand of anything that is related to the 70s, and it feels like it. I don't know. There's something about this movie that I can't make it number 1. But I recognize it for its strengths, and there are a lot of strengths with this one. Ted White is a fucking beast. He is a fucking beast. The scene where I love Trish quite a bit. She's like my favorite character in the movie. I love the scene where he's like creeping at the door and she just turns because she knows he's there and has the hammer. I fucking love that scene.
Yeah.
And not to mention the straight up brutality of Ted White's Jason. He crushes a guy's skull in the shower without slipping, mind you. And then he absolutely destroys Rob, and I'm glad it's off screen because I don't want to see what he does to him. He's killing me, you know. But you love this one, so I'm gonna let you say your piece because this is just the best movie of all time to you. If it wasn't for America Werewolf in London,
Or Die Hard.
yeah, I watched that the other night with Reynolds, by the way.
Did you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Final Chapter. I love this. I think it's a great slasher movie. Like, and I do want to say, like, I also love our number 1 as well. These two, I think I gave them the same score, same percentage.
Yes, they're exactly the same. Yeah.
Yeah. But absolutely, I love Ted White's Jason. I just love his the way he moves, his body language. I felt he was the most intimidating Jason. Um, and I like the characters. I like Jimmy. I like Teddy. You know, I like the whole computer thing. I like I like Rob, but I didn't necessarily care for how he died. But
One thing I
it,
don't like about it is how he's this tough guy, but that's the thing about this Jason. This version of Jason is so fucking brutal that he can take anybody down. You know?
yeah, but I think too, and I know you don't like the director.
No, Joseph Zito makes boring movies.
I think this is better made than the first three films.
So I will agree with that. The cinematography is better. The direction is better. This is
Yep.
probably the best made of the first five movies.
Yeah.
Um, the thing is, like Joseph Zito made a movie called The Prowler in 1981, and god damn it if it isn't beat for beat the same movie as the final chapter. It is very, very similar. That's another problem I have with it. Like this used to be like so much better for me until I saw The Prowler, and I'm like, holy shit, Joseph Zito did the same thing he did in The Prowler with Friday the 13th, and it just bugged me, and I started like The Prowler is boring as fuck. I know there's a lot of people who love that movie, but it is as boring as My Bloody Valentine. And then I rewatched this. I'm like, oh my god, it's the same fucking movie with Jason, and whatever. It is. I do have a lot of respect for this movie. There's a great bit of performances in this, and it's carried by Ted White's Jason and Trish, who I can't think of her name, Kimberly something.
Beck.
Beck, yeah. I love her in this movie. She's very pretty, but she's also very resourceful. Living out the woods with her mom and her brother, and then of course Corey Feldman, who we all loved in the '80s, was great in this as an homage to Tom Savini, who came back. One of the other things I wanted to mention about this, I don't love Jason's face in this movie because it looks like like an actual mask, where in part three it looked like a fucked up face. This one, because it's got the molding, like the where she's deformed, you can see all the wrinkles, and it looks waxy, and it just doesn't, something about it just doesn't sit right with me, and I just don't care for it. I think he looked better, well, worse, if you will, in three than and two, really. So I wasn't crazy about the face either after the mask came off, but the mask looks awesome in this because just keeps getting worn over the course of the movie, worn down. The chevron is starting to wear down at the top. You can see the blood stain from the yeah. Nobody else can see it, but I can see it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Got my final chapter mask.
there it is. Yeah, mine's on the wall. Actually, mine is a little bit different from yours because mine is in a different phase of the wear from the movie. I think mine's from earlier in the movie because the chevron is still pretty much full.
Yeah.
Because it does, if you watch, it does change throughout the movie, which is great. That's great continuity by the effects team. So
Yeah, we brought the kids to the mall a couple years ago, and we went to a store, and I saw this, and I didn't like the price tag, but after him and hawing about it, I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm grabbing it. So
what'd you pay
for that
for it?
money I didn't have.
Yeah. Well,
Well, I
doesn't
had
matter now. What the fuck? All right.
it's all in the past.
And yeah, so there it is. Number 2 is Friday the 13th, part 4. You ready for number 1? Or should we just end the show now because everybody knows what it is?
Just end the show now.
Obviously, it's Jason Lives. You gave it a higher score than I did, so don't complain. You gave it an 86, I gave it an 85. Comes out to an 85.5, but I don't do decimal points, so it's 86. I round up. 86%. And so you might say 86. If this is the best one, why is it so low? Because it's not the greatest horror movie ever made. You look at a movie like an American Werewolf in London. That's probably in the 90s for us, maybe even closer to 100. So, like, does this compare to an American Werewolf in London? Not really. Does this compare to Dawn of the Dead? No. I mean, Night of the Living Dead. I mean, I could name a Nightmare on Elm Street. The original Nightmare on Elm Street film is in the 90s. You know, this is a good spot for this. The best Friday the 13th movies are probably going to be in the 80s for us. I don't believe this deserves to be an 89 or a 90. I think 86 is good. I do think that part four should have been higher, but that's my fault. So
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, like Jason Lives is a super fun movie. It's totally rewatchable. It's a movie you could put on when you have friends over to drink beer and just have fun with. Um, the script is really good too. I mean, Tom McLaughlin is um, he's a pretty clever writer. Um, yeah, it's just a really fun movie, and that's why I dig it. This is the first one I saw in full of the series,
yeah, me too.
and I had a blast with it. And it's one that I can just watch over and over and just never get bored. You know,
It is kind of like Dream Master in a way.
yeah,
One of those ones. If you want to watch a Friday the 13th movie, just throw it on because
like
it's got, like I said earlier, it's got a little bit of everything. You know, except for boobs.
yeah,
But you know, the script is great. The direction is fucking phenomenal. Um,
yeah,
and so the cinematography. And I think Jason looks his best, even though there's two different guys playing Jason.
yeah,
Um, well, as far as post death Jason goes, because obviously Ted White's Jason probably looks the best overall. But this, I like this from here on is the best look for Jason. The mask looks great. I believe that Tommy Jarvis made that mask because you know he had the ability to do that. I don't know. I love the resurrection homage to the Frankenstein films from Universal
yep,
because Tommy McLaughlin is a huge fan of the old Universal films, which is awesome. And there's I don't know. This one's the first one we get kids in the camp, so there's an increased element of fear and danger. You know, and plus the cast. I mean, you got Tommy Matthews as Tommy Jarvis is fucking awesome in this movie. I mean, John Shepard was great, and I feel bad that he didn't come back because he could have come back and been in this movie and probably would have been good. But Tom Matthews is amazing. He's great in this movie. He became kind of a hero, and I love the way they stop Jason. Tommy realizes you can't stop Jason. Just
yeah,
you can only hope to contain him.
yeah.
So puts him back where he came from. Yep. What else is there to say about this movie? The fun, the kids are fun. Uh, no, that was part seven.
This had a
Uh,
great. You know, I love the scene with the RV.
yeah,
Uh,
court.
yeah, when
Like
it
that
when it
they're having
crashes,
sex.
it.
You're not finished already.
Yeah,
How much longer? The song went 10 more minutes. Oh Lord, we've all
yeah.
been there. No, I've never had sex with Darcy DeMoss. All right. Anything else you want to say about part six?
Um, no, it's just super fun. I love it. And I mean, going back to what I was saying, like I could put it on anytime. Like when I was doing this painting here a
Oh, you
couple
want to
years
show it?
ago,
Hold on. Mm, I want everybody to see your artwork.
when I did this painting a couple years ago, um, I worked on it for a little while. I still gotta finish it actually, but like literally, I put on the movie like every night that I was working on it, just to kind of like get into the mood of it, and I still had a good time watching it. Or you know,
And that'll be on sale for $785 soon.
it's not that good.
Trying to help, man. All right, so that's our list. Let's go back through it real fast, and we'll show off our personal list in this show, and come back next week with a Nightmare on Elm Street rankings. So number 12, fucking Jason X. number uh, number 11, Jason Takes Manhattan. Number 10, Jason Goes to Hell. Number 9, Freddy versus Jason. Number 8, the 1980 original film. Friday the 13th. 7, Part 3, or Part 3D. 6, you got Friday the 13th 5, A New Beginning. 5, you got Part 7, The New Blood. 4, the 2009 remake. 3, Part 2, 2, Part 4, 1, Part 6. And the community ranking, 79% franchise ranking, not too shabby. Can't wait to see what Hellraiser's is. And Elm Street's. And Halloween. I've done them all, so I can tell you what they are. Halloween? Hellraiser for sure. Halloween, I don't know.
Yeah, what's Halloween's?
Halloween, it has.
What's Hellraiser's?
It's low. I don't know. I'll after the show, I'll add them up while we're talking, and then we'll take a quick look at Seth's one more time, and then we'll go to mine, and then we'll say fuck off. We'll see you next week. Not too bad. I really thought this was a fun exercise doing the slash score and putting them up against our actual rankings because they're just slightly different, which I think is really kind of cool. Yeah, it'd be weird though if like you ranked Freddy versus Jason like 87% because that'd be number 2. Actually, that'd be number 1 on your list.
Yeah.
And then there's mine. Yeah, fun time. I love doing this stuff. This is a good time. The show was fun. I really enjoy talking about Friday the 13th. But Elm Street is next, and I got my mask on. One of my masks. I actually have like 9 masks. There you go. Yay, Fat Jason. I got a picture of me dancing with this thing on. This is a NECA or NECA if you're Keith mask. And it's heavy as fuck. It's like, I don't know what they made this out of. It feels like it's porcelain.
Yeah, mine is too.
Is it? So you got the NECA mask?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to get that one. They sell the Roy Burns version now.
Oh, that's cool.
I saw that recently. This was $40, but they also came with better in a big box. But I think the one was yours in a box or was it in a plastic?
Nope,
thing?
it was a pretty big box.
Now they're putting in these shitty plastic boxes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like, come on, guys, spring for a better box, yeah. Anyway, that's it. That's the show. And thank everybody who participated. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube, or if you have a Gmail account, go fucking subscribe, please. We'd love it if you'd subscribe. We'd be all like, oh, you subscribed. Can anybody name this movie? Huh? How about that one? So next week we will be joined by Uncle Fucker. No. Anyway.
Cousin Fucker.
Oh, Cousin Fucker, yeah. Uncle Fucker, Cousin Fucker, whatever. Anyway, that's all we got for tonight. I had a great time, Seth. I hope you had a good time. Peace out, nerds. Yes, peace out, nerds. We will see you next week when we do the ranking of the Elm Street films. Spoiler alert. Number 1's going to be A Nightmare on Elm Street. There's no way that will fall from number 1. I mean, Dream Warriors is a fan favorite, but A Nightmare on Elm Street is one of the most innovative horror films of all time. So, anyway, we'll see you later.